All right, now, President Obama this morning saying that he will make sure BP pays for the damage it has done to the lives and resources in the Gulf Coast. For some perspective on just how much that may cost the oil company and how they may end up paying it, I'm joined by Rob Gordon. He is the chief trial lawyer with Weitz Luxenberg, and he represents more than 500 commercial fishermen, including 27 captains, pilots, 2 fleets, and 5 ports that have been affected by the Gulf disaster. Rob, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk first about the claims that have been opened so far. Over 50,000 claims have been opened so far, and none of them have been denied.
I don't know whether other people have been denied. I know that the informal process of getting interim payments has been very difficult for many of the claimants. They have to go through contacting them over and over again. The forms are very difficult for them to get through. Luckily for my clients, our law firm has been able to go to BP, get the checks directly without the clients having to go through that bureaucracy, and we've been able to distribute that to the clients.
So you're saying BP, well, we hear that they're not denying any of these claims. They've already dispersed more than $63.2 million. They're making it difficult for you to put the claims in.
It's not that they're intentionally making it difficult. BP's in the business of finding petroleum. They're not in the business of claims. And as a result, they have been reacting to this process of claims much the same way they've been responding, I think, to the leak in sort of a catch-as-catch-can situation. We are trying to make sure that the clients are able to get the money. It's a gesture, what they're giving these people. Let's face it, $2,500 is not going to get people very far. The ship owners get $5,000. Well, they spent way more than that just getting their boats ready for the season, oftentimes using loans to get that boat ready.
Rob, I'm here outside the White House. In just a few hours, we'll hear from the president. When he gives that address, he'll be talking about a lot of issues. One thing he is expected to talk about is that escrow fund. Let me ask you, from a lawyer's perspective, a legal perspective, does this fund make your job easier?
Well, what remains to be seen what this fund is going to entail. It's certainly nice to make sure that there's going to be money there from BP. That's reassuring. What we want to make sure is that this is not a fund that has any caps on it, because BP was clearly grossly negligent by all accounts, and there would not be any caps under the OPA, the statute on oil leaks. We want to make sure that BP doesn't get a way of protecting their assets for the shareholders or get any rights that they wouldn't get ordinarily under the law. But in terms of the president trying to make an effort to make sure that people know the money's there and to get more interim payments to people, that's something that's good for everybody.
We have a...
Rob, what about...
Sorry,
I'm sorry. If I could just follow up, Rob, because another thing that's been talked about a lot is that the potential of maybe a prepackaged bankruptcy for BP and what that would entail. Would that make it easier for claimants, if you will, to file claims, get money from BP?
Prepackaged bankruptcy never makes it easier. Unfortunately, many mass catastrophes like this end up in a prepackaged Chapter 11 bankruptcy. But the problem then is it's a limited fund, and there'll be many creditors, be they hotel operators, ship owners, fishermen, natural resources claims, attorney general claims for a cleanup, as well as federal claims that will all be fighting to split up that money. And we just want to make sure that all of the people get the money that they deserve and need and rely upon, because no one knows at this point how long this leak is going to go on and how extensive the disaster will be and whether they'll be able to fish those waters again for a generation.
You know, it's interesting because more and more people are talking about bankruptcy. We have a story out today saying that even bankruptcy wouldn't allow BP to avoid paying the claims in full. But if they don't have the money to do it, what can you really do, right?
Well, look, BP is a very successful company, a lot of cash. They should have the ability to compensate people, although I'm sure it'll be painful for their shareholders.
Well, and we're talking about big numbers here. The estimate now is over $40 billion, the most recent estimate.
Certainly, and there's no question that they command the largest part of that responsibility, but there are others, Transocean, Halliburton, who also may be kicking into any sort of a fund. that a federal judge may put together. It's a lot of money. But again, until we have this oil stopped and can understand the full extent of what has happened, I mean, we don't know what's going on, for example, with the underwater plumes. We're not going to know how much money it's going to take to compensate everybody and get us back to where we were before this leak happened.
All right, that's a very good point. Rob Gordon joining us from Weitz Luxenberg. Carol, talking about some of those unanswered questions that we talked about. Great story about that in Business Week as well.